mfowethu ezikoleni engifunde kuzo mina abantu abaningi banakho lokho ukuthi khona unyaka la khona ugrade 7 noma engawufundela esikoleni esasise dolobheni. So abantu abaningi babevika ngalokho bethi no lo muntu lona lento le yokuthi he is intellectual ingoba wake waba kancane exposed yabo esikoleni sikanye
ufuna wenza sure ukuthi bayebamba le ukuthi hayi wakwafunda esikoleni esithile
kodwa mina that's not the case because mina ukuba yimina kahle kakhulu ngasho ngithi lo Mxolisi ombona manje uzidiscover esephumile ngisho esikoleni kodwa engingakusho ukuthi izikole engangifunda kuzo zayisemakhaya kakhulu yabo nje ugrade 6 wami ngafunda esikoleni esasidelelekile ngendlela eyisimangaliso endaweni kodwa ke ihigh school engafunda kuyo yayaziwa njengezikole laphana ezazihamba phambili kuleyo ndawo but isikole sabantu nje abangabaZulu akukho ukuthi khona abantu abayibala elihlukile manje so nje kwakuyikole kanjalo ukuthi umfinyeli kwakuyisikole esasinomthetho kakhulu wawungeke uvele nje wenze noma yini yonke into eyihamba ngeprotocol.
Iphi leyo grade okushaya lapho?
Ngashaya grade 8 to grade 12.
Okay.
Emfinyeli high school.
Nice. Wasuzinzile lapho?
Ngase ngizinzileke lapho uyabona. So kulokhu okwe education system yethu. Ngiyengithanda ungacomment kakhulu kuyona because I don't want to rate myself as an educationist. Uyabo. Kodwa khona uma ubheka zikhona izinto ezingayenzi kahle isense uma ubuka. Ngisimo sokuthi ngizokwenza an anecdote ukuthi mina ngingumxolisi when I grew up I wanted to be an accountant whether a management account whether to end up being a chartered management accountant or a chartered accountant yabo. So but funny enough ngangiplay fully mathematics ngingasenendaba nayo yabona. So engizama ukusho ukuthi kokunye kube nama subject othola ukuthi kudidiyelwe ndawonye but uma uthi uyabuka akuzukukusiza kahle uyayibona leyo nto leyo ubona akuzukukusiza kahle kunalokho it's attenuating your potential kanje nge-physics ne-chemistry. I'm not saying ukuthi kufanele kuhlukane but kumina i-chemistry was a problem uyabo ngangi-understanda kangcono i-physics part uyayibona leyo nto leyo but ngokuthi angangekho vele kuleyo nto ye-physics ngathi uma ngiphuma angaze ngibe nakho ukuba curious ukuthi i-physical sciences physics how does it impact the chemistry part yabo. So angifuni ukukhuluma ngento engenaso isiqiniseko sayo because ngenze ukuthi mhlambe babona kune resonation kuleyo nto leyo but mina ngesingami I don't think ukuthi it is of benefit ukuthi ezinye izifundo ihlanganiswe kanje kuzoba nenye futhi I think i-business studies bake bethi abantu abanamabhizinisi sengathi isikhathi esiningi ungafundiswa entrepreneurship in schools. Entrepreneurship ikhona ezikoleni kuyi-business studies. Umuzobheka uanalyze i-business studies ikhona entrepreneurship lapha uyabona and une business studies i-background yayo une background ye-economics bese uba ne-background ye-accounting you can't tell me ukuthi ukhalela i-entrepreneurship one yabo. So into ejwayele ukushiwo kakhulu bese advise abantu abanamabhizinisi amakhulu but no kufanele kube ne-module ezothi entrepreneurship esikoleni whereas that's the name ukuthi entrepreneurship but i-entrepreneurship iyona it's a blend uyayibona leyo nto leyo. So into kanjalo engizama ukisho ukuthi if you've got business studies if you've got economics and accounting why ukhalele ilokhunjani i-entrepreneurship? Yes.
No, I hear you. I know that argument is very big. You know, that one is very, very big.
Yeah,
for an example, abanye abantu abaningi abakhulumayo iyona lento ukuthi where is the problem then manguthi abantu benza u-BCom benza ama-business studies abanye abazobe nama-masters kodwa uhlele ekhaya you know akakwazi ulinda umsebenzi lo muntu lona yabona lento le. So at times kusuke kunale argument I just want to hear your thoughts kulokho kusuke kunale argument yokuthi esikoleni masukuthi sifike sifunde abantu bafunda bene-mentality ukuthi one day I'm gonna be sitting in a corner office in a certain company. So umuntu ugcine engasaboni ukuthi ngifunda so that ngizokwazi nami ukuphuma ngenze something. Yabo uma uzophuma esikoleni wambe uthenga isaka lama-orange kuba ngathi you are a loser, you are a failure. You know, because abantu abaningi baphuma balungisa ama-CVs, you know, bahambe. And this problem esikhuluma ngayo right now, even about Robert Kiyosaki, the greatest guys when it comes to our finances, they've written books where they're like saying scholar is just a waste of time. You know, you have the likes of every other great guy or billionaire. They had to drop out of school. I'm not saying what school is bad, but this thing, kungenzeka ukuthi at times, like you were saying, opportunities asuke khona, this thing is there, but people are failing to see it. And in that failure, we end up with isikolo ngazuthi asibalekile, you know.
Lena ukuthi angize ngayithanda kahle i-mentality esinikezwa yona, sinikezwa abantu. I'm sorry but ngizolimention igama ukuthi not ukuthi usho njalo uKiyosaki, but i-mentality yokuthi isikole si-useless. No, ngeke akufanele sibe nabantu abazokhuluma kanjalo. Uyabona, because enye into ebalekile ukuthi yabo njengoba bengikhuluma nge-blend kanje, for example ebhizinisini, uyabo, uyazi ukuthi into eshayayo ukuthi uthola ukuthi usuyaphuma ubone ku-useless. Look, that's because you didn't know why you are doing it. Yabo, you didn't know why you were doing business studies, why you were doing economics, why you were doing accounting. But ukube thuba ukwazi ukuthi why am I doing this subject, how are they gonna be fruitful kumina uma ngiphuma la, uyabona. Le knowledge onayo la ibizokulekelela uma sekumele ube practical.
It's very interesting what you're saying, because I'm going to make an example of Elon Musk. Elon Musk, obviously, naye akayena umuntu ongathi scale zane. I can also make an example ngobani ngalontanga lo Bill Gates. Naye siyazi ukuthi isikole washiya. But those guys bama readers, like bama readers at the highest level.
Exactly.
You know?
So you cannot tell me ukuthi ukufunda isikole leyo nto leyo kufanele uyibeke eceleni, uyabo, because uma ubuka la bantu esikhuluma ngabo njengamanje, uElon Musk wathi incwadi zamfundisa zamkhulisa okudlula ubaba wakhe. Uyayibona leyo nto leyo. So uma ubheka i-education le, yabo, so that's education. So
no, it's just that I'm glad the route you path okuyo right now, because le challenge of it. I was reading this book to The Capitalist Nigger, you know. This guy was sharing a sentence elangilimaza kuleya ncwadi ukuthi an average master's student, the last time bethinta incwadi is when they were preparing for an exam.
An average,
a master's graduate, mababuka ukuthi benze ucwaningo oluthile uyifake lapha encwadini yakhe veza leyo nto ukuthi iningi labantu kuba ngazuthi they only read it because kuzoba ne-exam, they will get a certificate. So this thing of being a lover of knowledge, ugcine sekuba ngazuthi iyona ifike ibe yi-challenge kakhulu, because people only read it because there's an exam, there's an assignment that they need to do. And then coming back to what you were saying, where you were consulting libraries and you have 10 books on one subject. If mhlawumbe abantu they can grow in doing that, i-education system ingaba nokuba improved.
Yes, ingaba improved i-education system uma kungaba nento kanjalo. Ngoba uma ubheka it's like abantu they don't have a reason of what they are doing isikhathi esiningi, uyabo. So ngicabanga ukuthi inga-improve kakhulu if ukuthi abantu, because yabo, it's all about the love of what you do and that's knowing correct. Why you are doing
that's
it.
Correct,
so usekulento lena ukuthi uthe sekuyaphuma ke emqondweni, but it was very important. Kodwa mhlawumbe ngizokukhumbula before siqhubeke.
Now usuqeda umatric kwenzakalani lapho? Ideas of where you want to go and study, at that time, are you still only focused on what they related to school, and you've started now getting into other writings, getting to know other authors outside the spaces sasesikoleni. That is you now finishing umatric.
So uma ngiqeda umatric mina into yokuqala kwakuwukuthi kufanele ngihambe ngiyofunda, ngifundele umsebenzi ukuze ngizosebenza.
Yeah.
Uyabona? So sekubuyela kulokho bukade
That's correct.
Uyabona?
Yeah.
So nami nganginento ekanjalo. Why ngangine mentality ekanjalo? It's because la engikhulele khona.
Yeah.
Vele ioption onayo ukuthi hamba ufunda ukuze uzosebenza. Uyayibona leyo nto leyo. So ngamanye amazwi this potential that I had yayivalwe ukuthi mina my mind was constricted.
Yes, correct.
Yabo. So ngaphuma ke esikoleni ngenza ngaya eBoston. In fact ngaqala eISS City campus. So ama marks ami ayengekho right. Ngangithola ubachelor and ama marks ami ayemahle. Kwavele nje kwalekha ku mathematics ne physics. Kwamele ngithi ukwakhuphula. Uyabona? So angisenayo lento ukuthi mhlambe ngiyoyenza iaccounting one day but kwase ngathi kuthe ukuba weak inyana. So ngahamba ngaye eBoston emva kwalokho ngiyokwenza idiploma in financial accounting. So ngayenza idiploma for 3 years. Ngayenza ngayiqeda. Incwadi lezokhuluma ngazo ukuthi mhlawumbe kwase ukhona ukuthi ngangisengibuka amanye ama author no kwakungekho lokho. Kimi nje kwawukuthi read your textbooks, finish your studies, go and find a job. Yabo. So akukho nje okunye engaze ngithi kwakungi-influencer ngaleso sikhathi. Indaba yaqala la khona sengingasawuthola umsebenzi engufundela. Ngathi mina ayikho into engizoyenza mina. Angiyena umuntu okufanele ephumele ngaphandle yokuhlala nabangane ezitolo. Yabo. So ngiumuntu othanda ispace sami, yabo. But ngizokwenza njani because I don't want to find myself bored. Yabo. So into yalandela lapho kukhona incwadi eyayithengwa umaye motivation. So wayifunda wayiqeda. Ngase ngiyithatha nami ngathi hayi awuthi ngiqhubha isikhathi. Kodwa yayilokho ikhona lento kumina ukuthi
it's 2022 right now. So when was that?
Ngaqeda 2018, 2019.
So that's like 3 years ago.
Yes, that's like 3 years ago.
Hey, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm saying it out of respect. I'm struggling to understand that.
So
knowing you now and what you stand for and what you're capable of, and I'm just battling to understand. To reconcile the two. You know, looking at this time frame you're giving me.
Yes. So nje kwaba into kanjalo. Mina uqala ukufunda incwadi, ngifunda incwadi ngiyibambe ngithi no. This is not a textbook. Ngiyayifunda incwadi ngiyayiqala futhi ngifuna ukuyiqeda. That was 2019. So incwadi yayi motivation yayithenga uma eyithengela ukuyifunda. So wayifunda ngase ngiyayifunda nami. Ngithe uma ngivula ngifunda ngathi no. Uyabona? Kwaba ngenye futhi ayithengile.
What do you mean by no?
Uma ngithi no ngathi no. This book yonke content yakhona is tenuous.
Because when I kubungula ama content use no 7 years, so definitely
it's just that ngaleso sikhathi ke kwangesiyo incwadi
I know kwakuyi syllabus or something.
Yes, syllabus. Yabo. Angiqedanga, ngayifunda, ngiloku ngina ukuthi kodwa Nkosi yami. When is this person gonna say this or that? When is he gonna answer this or that question? Yabo. So kanjani ngagcina ngayiqedanga. Yes, esibili the same story ngathi this is not enough. Lokho akubhalile lo muntu lo. Yabo. It's weak, it's tenuous. Yabo. So and then emva kwalokho ngathi hayi man. Ngiyithola phi incwadi ngathi no, I've got to write it. I know I've got to write it.
Was that 2019?
It was 2019. Uyabo. But ingenakho ukuthi nini kanjani uyayibona into leyo. Kodwa nje ngaba nakho ukuthi no.
Sure.
No, icontent engiyifundayo kabi le mina icontent engiyifunayo erase imibuzo kakhulu engaphenduleki like thothi ngizofunda isentence elilodwa ngifunde elilandelayo ngithi mina but upromise lokhu lo muntu lona but manje lana ayihlangani akafiki uyikhaphezulu yabona angi-understand.
No, that's a good one because I started a long time ago to really buy books. My biggest challenge, especially with motivational books, you know, all of them, I go to 200 pages. not all, but like 90%. I started like now to finish, like by now, I think I started like when I started writing, when was it? That was I started writing in 2014. Yeah, 2014. I think around 2014, I started bumping into books that were I could read from A to Z. Because in what bengithi mase ngifika center, anything from a center kuya ngalena, it's just a reputation.
Exactly.
It's like people were now striving to have the thick pages, so they will like sacrifice i-value yencwadi by
Yeah. And okunye yazi mina nginotisile ukuthi umuntu wesinye isikhathi usuke engasacrifice ivalue yencwadi. Kwesinye isikhathi usuke engaboni ukuthi uyaziphinda phinda. Yabo, usuke enganotice because uma ubuka i-writing into ecritical kabi ngoba uma ukhuluma nge-writing you are talking about coherence and cohesiveness of ideas. Yabo. So if mina abantu abakanjalo ngibathatha nje abantu abangekho organized abangayihlanganisi information before beyibhale, because if uzohlanganisa uma uzoqala ubhale for example incwadi, you've got to have problem to the main problem, and then you've got to develop from that main problem the problematic question, and then you derive from leyo question ukuthi these are the problem topics. So if I've got 10 problem topics, then I am potentially having 10 chapters. So akuzukufika kahle kuyiphuzu lokuthi ngizirepeat yabo into kanjalo. So I think into ebashayayo iqala kuyi-planning ekuthenini umuntu ubhala engakabi ready ukuthi ebhale.
Yeah. It's very powerful what you're saying. Khona umfethu ungidisappointile kanjani. You know this guy because I've seen you quote him as well. But we've never spoken about this. This guy ubhale incwadi ngizokhuluma ngesizulu ngenzela ukuthi engangizwa ngoba wase-America. Ubhale enye incwadi ethi Leaders Eat Last. Ngiyalikhohlwa igama lakhe. Simon mfethu. Simon usanda kubuka i-interview yakhe ethi akafundi mfethu. At all. Yabona mfethu Simon mfethu uze wakhuluma ukuthi 6 months in a space of 6 months yena mfethu even half a page mfethu is too big, 6 months. Yeah. So nje mfethu izinto kanjalo. I don't know, but what I'm going to do, because ubekhuluma leyo nto kwenye ilento lena the Diary of CEO. Omunye umfethu wase-UK mfethu ongishayela ama-podcast engiwathandayo. I-interview yakhe lapho la Simon esuke esho leyo nto ukuthi akafundi at all.
So uma eyisho leyo nto leyo abamchallenge bembuza ukuthi pho i-content uyithola kanjani?
I-content uyithola ngokulalela and what not. Uzobuka something clip or 5 minute 10 ngok-observer, just ukuba leyo nto leyo. So but now the reason why ngireza lento lena ingoba mfethu I know for a fact ukuthi it's not only him. I know a lot of writers, local writers, who don't like books, but they like what comes with titles like an author and whatnot,
Yeah.
So because of that, they will find themselves, bebhala incwadi. So people can do that bengayithandi incwadi. And then when you read their books, for an example, I'm sorry to say this, ngike ngayifunda incwadi kaSimon, I think mhlawumbe ngisafunde 2. Akayena umbhali ngempela uthi umufunda incwadi yakhe ufile ongazuthi I'm connecting with these pages and whatnot. Kuyincwadi nje suke naleyo nto suke yisho, you can run through ama-pages akhe futhi usheshe uthole ukuthi ufuna ukuthini. You don't get lento yokumasajwa incwadi, the writing style.
Kube yiyona incwadi othi uma uyiqala ikuthathe into elapha yana mhlambe ukupage 2.
Yes.
Kodwa into elapha kupage 10 kube yona ebiza wena ukuwoza.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the skill and all that,
akukho kushuthi
iningi labo bantu
into oyithola leyo ngokufunda incwadi.
Absolutely.
Sike saba ne debate. In fact, I was launching a book wawukhona.
Yeah.
Kwavela into yokuthi
great book launch of that one.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu
great book launch.
Mfowethu, kwavela into yokuthi ukufunda noma ama-audiobooks abantu bakhonza ukulalela, yabona. And iyinkinga leyo topic because umuntu uzothi but anginaso isikhathi sokufunda, at least ngalalela ngibe ngidrive, uyayibona leyo nto leyo. and angifuni uqamba amanga ngihlezi ngilimela leli phuzu ngoba abantu abaningi bangitshena ukuthi ungalalela mawuthanda it's not about, for example, the book as into efana nani as i-medium yabo, it's all about the content ukuthi ugcine itholile mhlambe nge-audio book uthi elalela. But now into abantu abangayi-understand la ukuthi yini enzakalayo uma ufunda cognitively emqondweni, yini yenziwa imbhalo ngesikhathi ufunda ongekuyithole uma ulalela. Uyayibona lonto leyo, cause enye into uma ulalela uzolalela and usulalele sekwedlulile.
Exactly.
You cannot highlight, you cannot go back to it. Uyayibona lonto leyo, so iyashaya leyo nto leyo cause manje uzoba negama ongali-understand, uyabona, and uma ungali-understand leli gama awuliboni futhi awukaze walibona before. Uyayibona lonto leyo, uzodipendela kuphi? Yabo izinto nje ezikanjalo, and ukufunda ukuconnecta nencwadi uyifunde kanjena uyibuke kubaleka because njengoba usubuka nje into kanje uyakwazi uyi-highlight and then you can take some notes ububhale emaceleni. So ngiyabezwa abantu bavika, for example, ngokuthi ngiyakwazi ukuyifunda mangidriver, ngayifunda ngibe ngiyibhizi endlini and stuff. Awukwazi ukufunda ube ubhizi ngezinye izinto because ngeke uyithole lento esencwadini ngaleso sikhathi leso. Yabo, so if uthi ilokunyani audiobook, for example, noma incwadi ezolalelwa, uyabo, i-right for when, then susa yonke into engakudisturb, ube present ngaleso sikhathi leso, ulalele ngqo. Awudrive ngoba phela ukudrive vele enye into. So if uzothi ulalela udriver khona okushodayo ungakutholi kuleyo ncwadi leyo obuzokuthola uma uyifunda. So uma ukuthi ufuna ukuyilalela, then i-focus yakho kumele ibe based ekutheni ulalele lapho, but kubeke ne-notebook la ukuze uma ukhona okutholayo ukulalele, you pause, you take notes.
Yeah, it's powerful le nto ushoyo ka pause, because as much as in fact, I'm not gonna lie, I do listen to some of the books, you know, audiobooks and whatnot. I do listen to them, but 80% of the time I'm reading, you know, and I strongly feel that there's power in reading. I keep saying that to Fetu. There is power in reading, because firstly, we were not, I strongly feel we're not designed to wake up and run with the day, and then after the day has ended, we shoot straight to bed. We're designed to live, do, and take time to stand still and reflect.
Yes, reflection.
And when you read, you know, there's something that happens when you read a paragraph and then you stop.
Yes.
Like, what is it saying?
Yeah.
I've never thought of that, you know. There's something like, wow. I thought I was the only one going through this.
Yes.
You know, you can never do, okay, you can hardly do that when, how do you meditate while the book is still reading? You
cannot.
Because you are missing what the person is saying right now, you know. So this thing of touching what you make it and you like, you take a walk like 3 steps and you come back, you're like, damn.
Yes.
You know.
Can you do that? You're not doing
So the thing is powerful, you know. I strongly feel, Uguti, obviously we're not forcing people to choose between the two. But me personally, as a reader and a writer, I can safely say, Uguti, my level of thinking improves when I am sitting down with a book on my lap and I'm reading, and I can still close the book and think and come back to it.
Yes.
You know. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Now, what I wanted to check, Mfethu, what propelled you to say, now I'm writing my first book, you know, and I'm frustrated now because these motivational speakers, now obviously we know they don't read, that's why they write junk, you know, with all due respect, you know. But this thing of writing, people make it so easy, you know. I think there was a time as well I thought anyone could write a book, you know. There was a time up until I started reading books, because, you know, umuntu ufika abe ne-topic, and then having a topic, they think it translates to them having to this thing of a rhythm, because now it comes back to this thing of a rhythm ukuthi, if a person reads the first chapter, why should they read the second chapter? This thing of giving people reasons. You don't promise what you're not going to deliver. Because again, I think that's what was frustrating you. Excuse me, with the motivational speakers, because they will promise something and then they will not deliver.
Or they'll keep on saying one and the same.
Yes, and then you keep thinking, hey, something big is coming, something is big is coming, and then before you know it, there's something else. I never thought I was going to share this. Ufika umfowethu ebandleni ngangikulo kwenye indawo angifunda ukuyimenshina because the intention is not to expose people, but lithi iqhawe lifika mfethu ebandleni khona umuntu ohleli kwi-wheelchair, i-guest speaker le, yabo. Uma efika mfethu ufike uthi niyambona lo mfowethu uhleli laphana uqala isemoni yakhe, yabo, powerful man of God, inverted commas, man of God. uNkulunkulu ungitshenile ukuthi that guy uhleli lapha kwi-wheelchair, as soon as the service finishes, that guy is gonna walk. We clap on it. I turn, I look at the guy, who is like, to ecstatic, is at another level. And it's like, I can't believe this. God, you are great. He's losing himself, And this guy starts preaching. He preaches. As soon as he finishes preaching, he then calls people and whatnot. This poem. After that, and then he goes. Sohlala manje indawo eqhukuthwana befundisa ama-guest speakers. Useyohla manje after the service. The guy mfethu still on a wheelchair. Nobody speaks about it.
Nobody speaks about it.
Yeah. This guy overpromised like crazy, He told us ukuthi uNkulunkulu umtshelile ukuthi this guy is gonna walk. And after that, he doesn't even pray for him,
So you are trying to extrapolate that with what we are talking about, like promising what you cannot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it happens at times when you read this book, because they keep indicating as if, hey, there's something before the things, and then nothing happens.
Yeah. So kuba nje inkinga esijwayele ukuthi sibhekane nayo leyo kakhulu futhi, and iyona nto eyenza ukuthi ngibhale vele mina, yabo. Into eyenzeka ke la ngafunda incwadi kaRyan Holiday ethi ego is the enemy, yabo. So ngayifunda, ekuyifundeni kwami leyo ncwadi ngathi ngiqala nje nge-introduction ngathi perspective ikhona la. The book is coherent. So umelibeka iphuzu uqonda ngqo ukuthi ukhuluma ngani, uyayibeka iproblem, uhamba nayo yenaba nesolution ugcina uyitholile. Uyayibona lo. So uyabona ukuthi umsebenzi wakhe uqoqekile, akayiphinda phindi futhi. So yona ncwadi yokuqala mina leyo eyangenza ngabona ukuthi lento engisuke ngicabanga ukuthi no, this person is not answering my questions kule ncwadi, but upromisile, yabo, izinto kanjalo. So ngasho ngithi yona ncwadi eyashintsha impilo yami leyo, eyangenza ngathi, because nganginokudoubt before ukuthi no, but mhlawumbe I'm crazy. Kodwa after sengifunda incwadi kaRyan Holiday, ego is the enemy, ngathi no, I'm not crazy.
Wayithola kanjani? Was it through referral or?
It was not a referral. Ngavele ngena nje ku-internet nje ngibrowser nje kulama website la nawe incwadi eyimahala ngiyibukela yabo, hopelessly and mindlessly, yabo. And then I got incwadi kaRyan Holiday, yabo. Then I got to have that book, and then ngayifunda ngabona wow, yona incwadi eya invent Mxolisi leyo. Kodwa njengamanje uma ngiyibuka leyo ncwadi leyo, it's not a book engathi njengamanje isengaphinde yenze lento eyayenza qala, because I know better now.
So usungayikritika mawala manje.
Usungayikritika so in fact ngiyamkritika vele manje uma ngifunda umsebenzi wakhe ngibuthi la yabo, but ngalesi sikhathi angithi ngangakabhali mina, yabo. So kwangekho umkritika kakhulu because ngangikubona lokho engangifuna ngaleso sikhathi lokho deep, uyayibona.
So now when you decide to sazobuka kule ncwadi yokuqala oyibhala. What do you do then when you want to sit down and write? Do you then research on how to write a book, or how did that go about?
So kokokuqala ukuresearch ngangaresearchi okokuqala ngaqala ngiyahlala phansi ngathi okay incwadi engifisa ukuyibhala ngangihlale nginento yokuthi uyabona abantu kwesisikhathi abadala kunawe uma bezothi noma bangangawe uma bezothi benenkinga ethile bethi no Thulani yazi nginenkinga kanje ngistakile yabo, and then wena bese umnikeza isolution umuntu uthi no awubuzame kanje uyabo, ezama umuntu eqhamuke sezothi kimi yazi ungilaphile uyabo, ungilaphile, and indlela engangisuke ngimtshena ngayo lokho sokuba iprocess ukuthi kanje process from A to B to C kanje, ebuye umuntu ezothi no wow uyabo. So into eyenzeka lapho nganginalo mbuzo ukuthi nje okay so khona nje I'm afraid now ukuthi ngahle ngibiza igama but I don't want to.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. Yeah.
Yebo. So kunalento ukuthi mhlambe umuntu umefika endaweni yabo ebesethi mebuka amantombazane yabo ethi no yazi ngibonile ubani maye ngibuka usmile kamnandi uyabo kusho ukuthi uyangifuna bonke kanjalo, and then uthi mina no akwazi ukusho kanjalo ukutshenile yini uyayibona into kanjalo. So uma efika la akekho happy kwi-environment, uya kwenye environment akekho happy, uyayibona izinto kanjalo. So ngabuka ngathi okay so umuntu kahle engakwazi kanjani ukucollaborate nabanye abantu ngaphandle kokuthola the perceptual inaccuracies uyabo. So ngase ngithi okay that's a center of a book ukuthi coexist nabanye abantu, whether it's in a workplace or it's at home or we community and stuff yabo, coexist nje nabanye abantu yabo. Ngase ngithi okay but yeah that's not enough uyabo. Ngabe sengithola ama problem topics from there yabo ukuthi let me look for ama pivots awu5 engizowabona ukuthi ayicenter lawa ukuthi umuntu umefuna umove from position A to B uyabo, from position C to D imap lama pivot a common ukuthi ngabe usekhaya ngabe usemsebenzini ngabe kuphi, if you want to be a progressive person uyabo. Ngathi ngifuna u5 azoba common, incwadi accommodate wonke umuntu uyabo. So ilapho engaqala khona iresearch, ngafunda ezinye incwadi ukuthi okay now ipivot yokuqala it's about purpose and transparency. So ngibuka ukuthi okay bathini ngepurpose yabo, bathini ngepurpose, ngibang okay lokho abakushoyo ilokho abangakusho, and then emva kwalokho ngithatha ama notes njalo ngaleso sikhathi. Pivot wesibili nakhona it's about change, like constructive change. Ngingenza research ngalolo hlobo bathini abanye abantu ngakho yabo, until ngaze ngaqeda ngo-pivot 5 kwase kuyimali lapho-ke sengithi okay manje sengiyahlanganisa-ke sengiyabhala yabo. So indlela engenza ngayo mina ukuthi I don't just write yabo, ngiqala ngicheck ukuthi abanye abantu bathini yabo, qale ngenza i-research yabo ngama problem topics. So kubalekile lokho ukuthi wenza ama problem topics and then bese wenza research nge-problem topic kanjalo, ngeke uyithuke usuyiphinda futhi yabo. So i-draft time yokuqala i-rough ngenye indlela, uma ungayibuka ubuke nencwadi into ezimbili ezihlukene.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, obviously that's a given with you because even incwadi esipublishiwe isahlikizwa namanje.
Yey. Ngisahlikize yokuqala kwasamini.
Ngakho ngidesela incwadi osuyibhalile mfethu. Incwadi esibhaliwe ibisile.
Yasibhaliwe.
No, never mind. No. It was not a surprise because you had told me. You remember when we met in town for the first time?
Yes, I remember.
That was the only copy you had, and I was willing to have it, obviously. Yeah, but I, that did give me a picture about you with this guy, Yeah. So, and then what was the title of your first book?
Will to Advance.
That's correct. That's the one I got.
Will to Advance. And abantu yona ncwadi yami angazi abayithanda ngenye indlela.
Yeah. Your first baby.
It's my first baby and I love her.
And how did that one make you feel now, having published the book is here? Musuyihlikize yini obusubona ngazuthi I could have, you know.
Ngicela ukuqala kulokhu mfowethu. Okunye engaqale ngikubala ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi nganginenkinga yamehlo.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
uma nginenkinga yamehlo, obviously kwakuba nezinto othola ukuthi azenze ngendlela engifisa ngayo, yabo. So ama-typo ke lawo hayi ukuthi i-content, ama-typo nje, yabo, engawathola mase ngiyalungisa. But sipublishiwe. Bese kuba ilokho kwe-content ke ukuthi ngiyayihlikiza ngiyibuka, yabo. So into engingasho ngithi yayingishaya ngencwadi yokuqala, engingasho ngithi I've learned more now, I'm better than what I was ngesikhathi ngibhala incwadi yokuqala, ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi i-perspective yayingakabikho kahle hle, yabo. So ngangithi uma ngibhala khona lento abathi curse of knowledge, yabo. So ngaleso sikhathi leso indlela engangibhala ngayo ngangayirefine ukuthi ngangivele ngiwakhiphe njengoba enjalo amalokhunjana ama-thoughts. So ngiyakhumbula nje okunye there is rational intervention heuristic model, and I didn't explain kahle hle. Nga-explain but angi-explainanga kahle. Ngeze ngezwa ngomunye umfowethu oyifundile incwadi, what is the meaning of rational intervention heuristic model, yabo. So ngase ngiyabona ukuthi okay, so i-problem ilapha ekuthenini ngangiwakhipha raw ama-ideas, noma sengiyilungisa but kwangekho ukuthi get out of yourself, yabo, uchaze, uyayibona into kanjani. But akwandile, and I'm proud of myself because that book, it doesn't feel like a first book. It feels like a 25th book.
Yeah. Sure. No, that's very powerful, and I know we've spoken on this as well in the past. The part where you find yourself in a predicament or a dilemma where you don't know now, with how much do I reveal and how much do I leave the reader to find out themselves?
Yes.
I think that is an ongoing part, but it's beautiful when a writer learns to balance it in accordance or in relation to the audience that they are trying to reach. Says God, and then your second book.
Second book Impactful Writer: The Cogent Art of Crafting a Masterpiece from the Beginning.
I love that book, and I wish every writer could have.
And I love that book too.
I love that book of it. That book of it is just something that needs to be kept somewhere in my class. This is a classic. Anyone who wants to write a book must read that book. So, what do you think would have changed had you read that book, your second book, before sitting down to write? Would you say that was like a book you wish you had read before?
Exactly. It's the book that I wish I read before I started the journey of writing. Because umubheka uyayifunda incwadi about writing. Khona incwadi abathi bed to bed, mhlawumbe uyayazi. Ijwayeleke nongathi ijwayelekile, isabalele umhlaba wonke, even abantu abafana nabo Alex, abantu abafana nabo Austin Kleon, recommend bed to bed. But that book, for me, it's not a classic, that book, because into eshaya abantu abaningi uqoqa into oyibhalayo iyabashaya, ngoba ngithi nje problem topics zamqoqa into oyibhalayo, yabo. So engingasho ngithi incwadi eziningi zilekha kulokho, yabo. So ukube kuthiwa ngafunda incwadi yami yesibili before ngibhala incwadi yami yokuqala, cabanga ukuthi into eyayizongisiza kakhulu ukuqoqa umbhalo. Yes.
That's powerful. But I think ukufunda kuyinto eqhubekayo, because even with mina ke ngine challenge, it's a personal challenge and I'm fine with it. It has to do with me as a person and the type of a person that I am. That's why I say it's a personal thing. Ama textbooks ngiyastruggle ukuwafunda, yabo Lendele. So even ama self-help books, kuyaye kube ngazuthi angangabhala ngazuthi kufana ngiyobhala i-exam, yabo. So ama writings ongathi ama novels, when you read, you evoke my senses, all those things, that type of writing. So that's why I'm a self-help books, I'm a maning, umuwabuga. I start with a story, and then like the first chapter would be like a story type. But almost book the story everything about the book, and then I'll just go into it and I start writing, and but I'm just highlighting that part to at times we write what we like, So we are more inclined to write ngendlela yoku-answerisha this gap ebesiyibona ngathi khona, yeah. So and then yeah, as I was saying, I think your book does wonders. I'm glad nga-attenda ngisho nakwi-book launch. Now this book mfethu also ikhiphile Limitless Enlightenment.
My signature book.
Yeah.
Limitless Enlightenment.
Yeah. Ngasivezela nje na cause ngiyibona uyiphethe la. In fact, that's my copy. Ungachomi ngecopy yakho. Yeah.
Owayinika
lyrical meditations. Yeah.
And aphorisms.
That's correct. Pragmatic fossils and evolution of wisdom. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yes. Imuphi line awuthandayo la so far?
I'll be honest with you. I'm still in that phase I told you about.
Okay.
So I took this book, I put it in a cage, I have been reading other books. Like for an example, right now I'm reading this book. What is the title of the book? You are not listening. It's the title of the book.
I think ngiyibona ku social media.
I'm reading that book right now, and again, you get different writers. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, but I don't mean it. I mean it in a good way. The Bible, I don't want to read the Bible when I'm rushing, and I'm not in a. I wanna read when I'm in a good space.
Yes.
Where I can read and focus.
And meditate.
There are certain writers that you cannot read. By the way, let me grab this book and read. You need to make time. Yes. And make sure that your mind is in a good space. Because one of the painful things that happens that I don't like is to finish a book and then I don't know what I was reading.
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't like. I don't read books for the sake of reading them. So there are writers like Abu Simon Sinek, because of their writing style. You can read them in right.
And uqedile wayithola yonke into ayishoyo.
I'm glad you hear me.
Yeah,
so right now, like I told you, I'm still not writing, On Friday, I was in Durban. I did draft something. There's a poem I'm writing at the moment. It's gonna be, I'm almost done with it. But it's a poem, is a poem, the types that you can perform, It's not going to be just the poem that when you read, but something that you can, it's spoken word, So that's the only time. I think since July, believe it or not, since July, I have not been sitting down and writing. So even my reading is not at a level where I can grab writers I respect and read. The likes of Abu C.S. Lewis, like you would know, I wouldn't read those books. So this is for the same reason that your book, I remember thinking I was going to read it last 2 weeks back, in a weekend. I thought I was going to read it, and then, I'm not in a good space. Yeah. So I'm rambling now to come to this point of saying, Guti, there's not even one line that, Yeah. But I remember with book launch, at Nompelo's event, just opened the book and I was hit by something there. I showed you that thing. Yeah. I showed you that thing. But, yeah. So, when the time is right and I'll definitely boast about having read this book.
Usekulokho ngenzela ukuthi ngakhohlwa kumede kunento oyivezayo la ngikuyi-subject ye-rhetoric manje. I'm collecting yonke information engayithola about rhetoric. Njengamanje ngibuka u-Aristotle umsebenzi wakhe, The Art of Rhetoric. So kunento sethi ukhuluma ngama-poems. uthi i-poem ozokwazi it's gonna be like a spoken word.
Yeah.
Yabo. Kunento engingazi ukuthi wena uzoyibuka kanjani kodwa ngithola kuyinkinga lokho ukuthi some people mabefunda ngithola nginenkinga yokuthi ngiperforme one of my poems.
Yeah.
Because abantu bazothi what is this person saying? So kunalento yokuthi manje we are regressing instead of progressing ngalento ye poetry noma ngalento lena yes ayingithi nje ngalento ye poetry.
Yeah.
Because njengamanje siku space la khona uthi Aristotle rhetoric the art of rhetoric being the observation of available means to persuade. So usethi akulele kuwe kuphela wayibala nje zantathu izinto ukuthi ngeke ngize ngibeke ngendlela but wathi one element of rhetoric is the reader or the audience. Yabo. So usethi if the audience is state of mind se audience silapho mhlambe let's say ekuthenini mina I'm ready to listen to a spoken word that is just clear enginakho ukuthi I've got to think ukuthi what is this person saying uyayibona lonto le so uyithola manje usubona abantu abaningi abangama poet isingasekho le element lo juice weinkondlo because they are lazy to think. So they want to be spoon fed. Sebefuna ukutshenwa istory in the form of poems. Uyayibona lonto le. So in that case bengifisa ukuzwa ukuthi wena uthini ngalokho do we need to balance ukuthi lama poem kanjalo aflowayo aclear noma lama poem abuye ethi ukufihla imeaning. Do we need to balance or we need to trade off okunye kwakho ukuthi mhlambe let's say lawa anokuthi meaning yawo ijule we don't need to perform them but lawa we can perform them izinto ezikanjalo what would be your say?
That's a good one. Again, first, I think it has to do with the audience, you know. Uma uzoperforma nabantu mfethu uperforma kubantu khona abantu abafuna ukusponfedwa. That's why the other time I made mention of rap, you know. Ukuthi rap mfethu there's a biggest cry because there are people mfethu osho line owodwa. Uline owodwa osho izinto eziwu2 noma eziwu3.
That's my style.
Exactly. I strongly believe that's how writing should be, especially masesithepha kakhulu kwizinto ze poetry ukuthi respect craft, respect ilento lena mfethu genre mfethu and go deeper and understand ukuthi it is language yalana ikhulunywa kanjani and then you use that language you speak yabo lento le Kono Animal Farm, the book. The guy first talks about animals who had Mr. Jones, who was the farmer, and then the animals reach a point where they thought, hey, we are being abused here. Let's get rid of this guy, you know. And then they get rid of the farmer and they start running the farm themselves, you know. And then quickly, some of the animals now are repeating the same things as Mr. Jones every night. When I read that book, I thought that book was talking about the ANC, you know, or written on African context, ukuthi abantu abamnyama baxosha belungu and whatnot, and then quickly sebebonakala ngathi benza the same thing eyenziwa oppressor yabo lento le. This guy decided to talk about animals, but it's deeper than animals. It's talking about the politics, izinto zako Reich and whatnot, the revolution. It's talking about izinto serious. So for a writer to be able to do that, rap this guy too, Ukwesta, you know, he is able to play with words, you know. Ukwesta can say one thing, in the sense, he write in jalo, and then he deeper, even any meaning for that deeper, you know, you know. So I strongly feel ukuthi as abantu mfethu khona mhlawumbe poem ongayiperformela abantu abasezingane engadingi ukuthi bedipha kakhulu but I still feel ukuthi ukudlala ngeart mfethu kuyadingeka kakhulu, you know.
Ukuthi enye into efike emqondweni wami njengamanje ilene ukuthi and it's a challenge engizoyiphosela nakuwena Kumede ukuthi uke wacabanga nokuthi yini eyenza abantu abangama poets noma abangama artists edala ukuthi bekulelo zinga forever. Uyayibona, angazi noma uyayizwa into engizamngisho.
Bebekulephi izinga?
Bebe kwizinga lokuthi balapho, let's say mhlambe, let me use the word local. So why does a poet, what are the factors that influence the fact that a poet has been a local poet forever? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The person is not growing. Yabo. So umuntu if ungamthatha, let's say ngoba sine conversation kanje, if ungamthatha manje uthi akahambe mhlambe eyoperforma kwi decent audience, now can this person be relevant kuleya audience? Yabona, if this person cannot be relevant to their audience, to that audience a decent, mhlambe let's say sekunyaka we6 mhlambe enza ipoet, uyabona, awubona ukuthi mhlambe ngaba ukuthi leli kopa ifake kulo mhlambe lokuthi yena ngaso sonke isikhathi kwenza into explicit, yabo, whereas those decent people abayi understand lento ayenzayo ukuthi you can't be telling me about something engathi noma ngiqalaza ngithi ngiyibone yenzeka nami ngiyibhala. Uyayibona into kanjalo. So ngike ngathi uma ngiyibuka ngabona ukuthi that is one of the factors ezenza ukuthi people remain local artists, local poets forever. Yabo, because they don't advance.
That's big.
They don't advance.
That's big.
And I remember kunelo kunjani kuno 4 lines ngithi mina, quit, oh poet, forget thine poetry flies, I don't know, but bengifisa ukuthi uyilokhu njani, bengifisa ukuthi uyizwe lento engishoyo. Uyabona, kodwa nje ilapho ukuthi you must quit. Mani kakhulu ngicine ngingasaqondi kahle ukuthi iyona iphi. Ngingakayitholi ithi quit, oh poet, forget thine poetry flies in praise. Uyabo,
sure.
So 2 lines low bese u2 line wesithathu uthi you have chosen to sell your poems so cheaply. So those 3 lines, so what I'm trying to say about this poem is I can go to the audience and throw these 3 lines and sit down. I have to make an impact. These are 3 powerful sentences. But the problem ekhona ukuthi you go there and throw these 3 lines, you sit down and people are like, no, they don't want to think. They like, 3 lines, is this a poem? So and emva kwalokho like kuzoqhamuka mhlawumbe omunye umuntu ozofika throw like all line about like 25 for example, lokhu njani eflow wayo lena vele explicit yonke amagama akhona. Uyayilonto le. So into kanjalo nje esibhekana nayo edala ukuthi uthola ukuthi abantu bakithi abangamaciko baba amaciko aleyo ndawo leyo kuphela, because they don't advance ilokhu njana indlela ababhala ngayo ukuthi bebhale nangezinto ezenzeka kweminye imhlaba. Uyabona into kanjalo. Yes, so nje uyabona le poem engikhuluma ngayo njengamanje like i cover into yokuthi wena, let's say you are on the stage, uyakhuluma noma uyacula noma vele ukuthi cwaka. Uyayibona lo nto leyo. So uma kubantu abadecent, yabo, uzothi cwaka ngisho ngabe kuthiwa ushaya into ehamba phezulu kanjani, they will just fold their hands and look at you kanje. Uyabo. So uma ngithi quit, oh poet, just forget, kunabantu abathi no, uthasikhohlwe manje ilento le, you are like discouraging us. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you want fame out of this thing, you want to be praised out of this thing. So isn't it kanjalo esinokuthi sibhekane nazo, thola ukuthi these 3 lines you are talking to them kanje ukuthi you are warning them ukuthi this is how you advance, ukuthi you should excel even if no one is watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because they cannot go deeper with the words, they think you are discouraging them.
Yeah. No, mfethu ngicela ukuyikhathela siye ku part 3 manje. I want us to have part 3 because ngifuna siqhubekela sigcine khona manje. Yabo. Buyisise siyaconclude ke manje because siyakwenza indaba engiyithandayo. Ngibona lana isilento lena ngicabanga ukuthi kuzoba great sibesana sihlale ku part 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So ikhatha manje bese siya ku part 3.